Rock me, mama.
I'm Macy Pruitt.
And I'm Amie Muriello.
Welcome to
Rock Me Mama.
Oh,
We're finally doing it. A lot of talk, guys. A lot of talk. Finally.
We've been trying to make this happen since we met each other.
Yes.
But y'all don't know how long that's been, but it's been
a while.
Months.
But literally a toddler gets sick every time we try to do anything.
Yeah. Or anything
Shit happens. Yeah. Well, okay, let's start by saying a little something about ourselves because you don't know us and you don't care.
Right.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Macy. I am a pre- and postnatal online trainer. I run my own business, Fittest Core. And I have a perfect little 2-year-old boy and then another boy on the way.
Yeah, pregnant
in a
AF.
matter of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm 33 weeks pregnant today.
It's wild. And you look, when I was 33 weeks pregnant, I looked like a wild monster.
I still refuse to believe that. But
you look ridiculous. You look so good.
Thank you.
I'm Amie Muriello. I am a touring musician, singer-songwriter with Universal, and the mother of a beautiful little toddler.
Perfect little
named
baby.
Farah. I'm also 40. I had her when I was 38, almost 39. And it's just been a journey because I think in the South especially, it's 40's even older than it is other places.
Yeah, people are popping kiddos out at 22.
Yeah, and it's just not the same thing.
No.
Anyway, we don't want you guys to think that we think that we're motherhood experts because we're not. Have no fucking idea what we're doing. But we found each other and we found a mom squad and it's completely changed our lives.
It's saved our lives.
Saved our lives.
Truly. I always tell the girls, it's a group of 5 of us, and I always say, like, y'all give me a reason to wake up. I mean, obviously my son does.
I was gonna say,
it's so morbid.
That's so dark.
Wake up a better mom. Like, yeah. With y'all, I'm like, okay, we can do this because I know I have them, and we all live within a mile of each other and see each other every single day, and our kids are actually best friends.
They're best friends.
So sweet.
And that's hard with toddlers because toddlers don't share.
Yeah. They're all obsessed with each other. And we have found our mom squad after not having a mom squad for, really the first...
At least year.
Yeah, depending on how old our kids are. But at least the first year, some of us a little bit longer than that. And
it's incredibly lonely to be a mom by yourself with no other mom friends because you really do feel completely isolated from people that don't have kids or people that don't have young kids.
Right.
It's a completely different ball game. And yeah, before I met you guys, I was very much, I got back on my antidepressants. I was very alone. So we wanted to create a podcast that was kind of like a mom squad for whoever was interested in having a new friend group and really just commiserating about, of course, the joys and the beauty, but really the shit show that is new motherhood.
Yeah. Hence the name. This is about how motherhood has rocked us. So that's why we're here. And we're going to just be
gonna
your mom
talk.
squad. Yeah. And share the real and the funny and the ugly
sad
and
the crazy.
Everything. There will be tears and laughter and a new baby soon.
A sip of my wine now.
Can I smell it?
Mm-hmm. Smell it.
So soon.
When I quit
7
smoking
weeks,
cigarettes, I used to have people blow cigarettes in my face. It sounds so bad. I'd be like, just blow it in my face. Okay, let me ask you something. What did you think motherhood would look like for you as opposed to what it actually became? When you weren't a mom.
When you asked me that, I almost giggle a little bit because I think that looking back now, there's actually no way of knowing, but you do there's this idea that you have in your head of this is what I'm going to be like.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. This is how our family's going to be. All of these things. I think and this isn't exactly what you're asking, but the overarching, shock of what motherhood has been to me versus what I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. I thought I would, dare I say, have a village.
Yeah.
And until...
Now we do.
Right.
Literally, but yeah.
Until our group, there wasn't one. And I chalk it up a lot to being in different stages of life as my friends, which is true.
Yeah.
And that's big time. It's a big time factor because until you become a mom, you do not know what it is like, period, point blank, you can't.
You absolutely can't know.
And so I think being pregnant and going into it and being the first of my friend group that's in Nashville, I think that was the biggest surprise, is just kind of feeling like
Alone.
Yeah, there's no village.
Because your husband can't relate to you either.
Right.
So, like, you're not only alone from your former friends or your friends. I mean, it's not like you lose your friends, but it's just different.
Non-mom friends.
They just don't get it anymore. But you're also alone in your own house.
You're alone in your own head.
Yeah.
It's a very, maybe that's a better way of saying it, is like, I expected it to have that village and to like have this community and
to all of a sudden feel whole.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a period of time where you're literally just like, who the hell am I?
Yeah.
And then you almost go, I'm saying you, but me, I'm speaking about myself, but and then it's like those first however many weeks of postpartum, your life is a shit show and you're bleeding and you're leaking and you're crying and it's the best time of your life, but also the most confusing and also like the hardest. Like it's everything. Name an adjective. That's what it is. And so the first part is just confusing. And then you get to this point where you're like, oh man, like who am I now? What is my new identity? And then it's the next stage of that is like, oh my God, I can't just be a mom. Like I have to have an identity other than just mom.
And then that makes you feel really selfish because you should be totally happy to just be a mom.
Right.
Because society tells us that we are so lucky. You're so lucky to be able to conceive when so many people can't.
Right.
But you're going through something very real and that is the mourning the loss of your identity. Mm-hmm. And so you have to be able to be allowed to feel that.
Yeah.
And because of like the innate mom guilt, you're having the juxtaposition between how you really feel and how you want to tell people you feel. Mm-hmm. Because you feel like a piece of shit saying like, I'm miserable right now. Because you are and you're not. You know, you look at your baby and you're like, this is the most beautiful thing. I've never been happier or more in love. And I've also never been so sad, so depressed, and so alone. Yeah. And it's like, it's a real mind fuck.
Yes. And I think that's like what I didn't know that. I was not warned that going into it, that it literally would be the most beautiful, yet the hard. Like it's so many oxymorons at the same time. Like it's the most beautiful thing and it's the ugliest thing at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's the happiest,
but literally the ugliest. You look in the mirror and you're like, am I a jar of mayonnaise?
Yeah. No, it's ugly was a literal word.
I looked at my postpartum body. My mom said, she goes, whatever you do, so me and my mom are the same fucking person. My mom said, whatever you do not look in the mirror for at least a month.
Which is impossible because you're naked.
Of course, the first thing I did was go into the bathroom and look at my body, which was a jar of mayonnaise. And I gasped. It was and I was like, I don't know, how do you even come back from this? And I had a C-section. So it was like, not only was there like a fucking gash, but it was just because pregnancy is misleading. Mm-hmm. Your belly, I mean, you have the hottest body ever, but for normal people, your belly is coming out, but everything else is like tight. The skin is tight with that baby. When that baby comes out, everything falls, including your ass, your stomach, everything, your tits, everything. Your face falls. Your face falls off.
The bags under your eyes, they're like
because Botox, honey.
Yeah, they just go down to here.
Everything falls off.
Your hair falls. Literally, your hair falls out.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I digress.
Sure your vagina falls. Everything.
Your vagina falls.
Yeah, it all falls. Everything falls. Yeah. I don't even know how we got off on that. But everything falls. Ugly. Literally being ugly.
Ugly inside and ugly outside.
And so,
these people that are like, a few days after having a kid posting on Instagram, like, sorry, A, you're fucking rich. You have help. You have a makeup artist.
Yeah.
You have someone watching your kid. There is no realistic aspect to that.
No.
The postpartum 4th trimester is the ugliest trimester of your life.
Yeah. And your hormones are also,
Yeah.
I don't even know what word is appropriate to use to describe your hormones, but you are not a human.
No, you're like
That's probably the best.
you're a
You're
monster.
actually not a human.
Yeah.
And there's no way of telling somebody
No,
that. Even
and
if you
people do
were,
tell you.
Yeah, I mean, they're like,
They
you're
try.
gonna be a monster and you're not gonna know who you are.
People
You'd be
try.
like,
People are like,
no,
oh, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. And you're like, I know. And they're like, no, you don't.
No, you don't know.
And then you do it and you're like,
Right.
You were exactly right. It
Right.
wasn't the greatest thing to hear. And I hate those like just wait people.
The worst.
The just wait mothers. We'll have an episode about that. But you really don't know. And then once you know, you're in this secret society together with everybody else that knows.
And you can't talk. There is this aspect of like, can I complain about this? Because if I do, somebody's going to think you're always going to hurt somebody's feelings. So somebody's going to think I'm ungrateful, or I should be so lucky that I have had this. And just because it's hard doesn't mean that you aren't grateful, but it's a whole thing. And then mom guilt's a factor that you can't describe either, which I think we have an episode on that probably as well. But yeah, all of that to say, what I thought motherhood, I didn't know about motherhood, which isn't really what you asked, but to kind of like answer that in a different way.
Yeah.
I didn't know how utterly isolating it would be. Truly isolating. And honestly, for me, and I know yours was very similar, pregnancy, and we don't have to go down this road, but pregnancy was the same way for me.
Yeah. Well, it was during COVID.
Right. So everybody was isolated. But
I mean,
then add on
literally,
top
you
of
had
that,
nobody.
like, so I started really my motherhood journey at the darkest time of my life because did feel so isolated. And then the rest of pregnancy was better, but it's like going back to I didn't expect the feelings of loneliness and isolation.
I did too. I mean, I was touring up until COVID shut all the tours down. So my last tour got canceled, and we had just had that crazy tornado in Nashville that wrecked everything.
Yep.
It was the Black Lives Matter movement, which was shocking and terrible. And then there was COVID, and everything got canceled. And I was literally wasted from, I would start drinking at like 11 or 12 in the afternoon. Just the day that I found out I was pregnant, I poured out a margarita the size of my torso. I took the pregnancy test and I was like, oh, okay, poured it out. So the lifestyle change from being on tour, being drunk, and just living that like free life to being super pregnant, being super isolated and alone, not working, then having the baby in a way that I'd never dreamed. You know, my birth story was just not what anyone wants. And then having her, it rocked me.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were trying to come up with the name for this podcast, I think that was like the most appropriate thing because it literally rocked my world.
Well, and we've also talked about several times how and I think all moms have said this at some point, but you and I specifically have talked about how when your baby is born, you are also born. Like there is a new Amie that is born. There was a new Macy that was born.
I think that to tie into the original question, my biggest shock and what I thought motherhood would look like as opposed to what it does is that in my mind, and this is very naive, but in my mind, I was going to keep me. I was going to keep 100% of me.
Yeah.
While giving 100% to her.
Yeah.
And I really, really thought that. And I'm still on a quest to achieve that somehow, but it's a different quest now that I know.
Yeah.
But I think that I was so shocked by how slow I was able to come back to the world. I really felt incapable of going out in public for a very long time. I really felt incapable. I didn't want to look at myself. I was completely immersed in her, but I didn't want to sing or play music. I didn't want to write songs. I had no desire. And I really felt like the only thing I can do is stay alive and keep her alive. I have no room in my soul for even one more responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that because of everything we see on Instagram and just in society in general, what motherhood is portrayed is these women that wake up at 4 a.m. and run 6 miles, and they have 4 kids, and everybody gets an egg white in the morning, and then everybody goes to school with a perfect bagged lunch, and then the mother goes to work, and then
that's all bullshit.
also cleans the whole house, and she also fucks her husband, and she also does all the things that women are supposed to do, and she does it while looking beautiful.
Yeah, and she doesn't look like she's had kids. And,
and then she posts about it, and she's happy. And I felt so inadequate because I really thought the only thing I was capable of is not killing my kid and not dying myself. And I think it really made me feel so inadequate as a mother and as a woman, because I really thought that other women were achieving all these things right away. And that's the most beautiful part about meeting other women that are like, oh no, honey, we're all struggling. I'm 2 years postpartum, and I am just starting to get my career back.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get my life back a little bit.
Well, because I think I wanted to let you finish that.
No,
but
please,
half
cut me off.
Well, I'm really good at talking
Shut me up,
over
honey.
people. So.
Shut me up. She'll go. She'll go all day if you let her.
I will too, but we're making this work. Part of that is you can't think of anything other than your kid. So it's not even that you don't have the time or the drive to write music. Like, you literally, the only thing you want to do is things for your kid, which, don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. That is what makes a great mother, right?
Yeah.
But I think in order to be your best mom self, you also have to take time for yourself. And that is really hard.
But you can't
to
in
navigate.
the beginning. Because you're breastfeeding. If you decide to breastfeed, which I did, you're breastfeeding 100% of the fucking day.
Yeah, which is,
and when you're not breastfeeding, you're pumping because someone told you that's a good idea to fucking pump.
Yeah.
When you're not breastfeeding, don't do it, guys. If you haven't had a kid yet, just let them suckle on your boob. Don't pump right away.
I've told you
I wasted so much time pumping and stressing about pumping.
I told you what my lactation consultant in the hospital made me do, right?
No.
My nipples were inverted. And so in order to, quote unquote, get them out, she had me pump after every single feed. Oof. And that started in the hospital. Literally after Eli's first feed, I was pumping. And I did that for, I don't know how long. So I was Dolly Parton walking around with size double Z's because they were engorged all of the time because that's what I was informed to do. I got mastitis
twice.
Yeah.
Which was so painful, and I had to go on antibiotics. But yeah, same. I mean, they convinced me I wasn't making enough because I had a C-section, and the colostrum came in later, and the milk came in later. And now I know I was making enough for her. They need so little. They're so small.
Right.
But they convinced me that she was starving, and they started giving her formula when I didn't want them to.
Yep.
Because they were like, well, when I would fall asleep, they would be like, she needed, and Nick would be like, okay, I guess give it to her. You know, like, you don't know anything.
Like, no. Yeah.
You're drugged up. You're in this like alternate universe. That's another thing that we'll talk about in another episode. But breastfeeding was, I think, the most stressful part of the beginning for me.
Yeah.
Just also the inadequacy. Yeah. I'm not making enough. I can't provide for my kid.
Yeah.
I'm not natural. I'm not a natural woman. I'm not a natural mother. Yeah. Because there's nothing natural about breastfeeding, by the way, in the beginning.
No. You have nothing.
Yeah. The baby's like, we are animals, but you have to coach your baby and you don't know what you're doing either.
No. I didn't figure out how to like hold his head and hold my boob the right way until, like, honest to God, 6 months in.
Stressful.
And I was like, oh, at first, I literally would hold him with this hand on this boob and go across.
I remember the football thing that they tell you about. They're like, do the football or do this, and nothing's comfortable.
Yeah.
God, it seems like 10 years ago, and
It does.
been
And
not
guess
even
who's
2.
about to do it?
You're about to do it
in
again?
7 weeks.
Okay, so let's talk about current states before we literally talk for 3 hours. Let's talk about current states. You're about to have another kid. Are you going to do it naturally?
Yes. And that's the plan. Unless I don't.
Like you're not going to have
Shit happens.
You're not going to have an epidural.
No, I didn't with Eli. And I would like to do
That's wild.
the same thing again. I would do a home birth if Chase were comfortable with it.
Do not.
I know you wouldn't let me.
I would never let you do that. I think it's fucking awesome when people do home births if they don't die.
Well, yeah.
But there's a chance that you or the baby could die.
Our birth with Eli was far too traumatic
For you to-
Chase literally, I mean, he thought that both of us were dying.
Yeah, Nick
at
did
one
too.
point. And so
It's
he
too scary.
can't stomach that. So we're doing happy medium at a birth center.
Okay.
So it's like a wing of the hospital.
Yeah, I know.
So
Seems. I mean, it's way nicer.
Yeah,
and
they just encourage you. I had the nurse that was working. What's like your bedside nurse called? Like the one that's just with you the whole time.
what's the one that's called morgue? Do you know what that's called? Is it a midwife?
No, it's, just the nurse when you like get to the hospital, the one that's doing everything for you. I only had one.
Like
that was
your
with me
main
the whole
nurse.
time.
I don't
yeah,
know.
my main
your
nurse.
main, yeah. Your main nurse.
The one that
Morgan's
was
like,
with
it's called the
me
nurse.
the whole time. Her name was Kathy. I'll never forget Kathy.
Ooh, Kathy.
Kathy doubted me from the beginning. And Sweet Chase, he wanted this as badly as I did because he knew how important it was to me. And so he said all the things that he wanted to say to like make sure she knew that's how I wanted it and all of that. And I literally every single time she'd be like, okay.
Ew.
Yeah. And Kath. And so Kathy was just not really on my team. And for those of you that
need
are listening,
people on your team more than
do. And I
ever.
just want to say, for those of you that are listening, if you are a nurse, this is not a shade on nurses. Nurses are phenomenal. Every single nurse at the hospital, other than Kathy, was an angel.
Yeah.
Like I
had some angels
loved all of the labor and delivery nurses. I loved the postpartum floor nurses. Like I wanted to bring them all home with me. So this is not a thing with nurses. This is a Kathy thing.
Yeah.
Kathy just wasn't on my team. So all that to say,
I hope Kath is listening
this
now.
is not a hate Kathy episode. So I will move on. But at the birth center, they want you to do it naturally too. Yeah. So there's not like literally I remember everything because I had no drugs in me when I was delivering Eli. I was probably about 8 centimeters dilated at this point in full active labor. And I remember Kathy leaning down, looking at me going, it's not too late. And I was like,
that's so
can
weird.
you just respect what I would like to do? Like I've gone
that's
this
so
far.
Weird.
And I know that that's not the case with most nurses. So again, this is not a nurse thing.
Yeah.
It was, there was something with her that, So
see, I was like, I love drugs anyway.
Yeah.
I don't need to be having a child to love drugs. So I was just like, I clearly want the drugs.
Like when
as soon as I got there, I was like, listen, let's just get all of this out in the public eye. I want drugs. I don't want to feel anything. Little did I know I would literally have my guts on a table, 12 hours later. But I knew I wanted the epidural because I can't even imagine feeling that, the pain of a head coming out of my vagina. Do you just like black out? Like, do you actually remember?
I vividly remember it.
Oh, you remember. You're like, no, I remember everything.
I didn't crown, which is like,
his head just popped out.
His head literally, and there was a note because Kathy didn't believe that I was where I was in labor. I'm not kidding. There was no nurse or doctor in the room. She left. Chase was finally like,
just out.
Well, so sorry, this is the visual. This is my vagina. Literally, I pushed 3 times and his head went from inside of me to here. Literally just cannonball. And I remember just being like, oh, like it felt so good. I delivered on my side.
Because it was out.
It felt so good.
And then does the body just kind of like fall out?
Little did I know, his body still, I truly felt like.
You thought he came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt so good because I was done. Prior to that, I thought my butthole was going to come out. Like it was just going to be thrown across the room. Yeah. I no longer felt that because his head had popped out. Little do I know, his head is turning blue. Chase runs out of the room.
Strangling
him. Chase runs out of the room and says, the baby's here. Oh my God, the baby's here. And so 4 nurses run in, and I'm still just like, I'm feeling so good. I'm chilling on my side. And one of the nurses picked up my left knee and said, I need you to push. I need you to push. And I pushed 2 more times. And he was out. Yeah.
Because he's a little nugget baby too.
He's a little nugget baby.
Yeah.
And so I don't even remember what the
See, my
question
girl was 8 pounds, 9 ounces.
Yeah,
she
was different.
Big.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not happy for the C-section, but I think it would have really fucked me up down there.
Yeah, your vagina would be different.
Yeah.
She'd be a different lady.
Well, I'm in a totally different position than you because I am, as I said, I love to harp on my age. I'm 40.
Okay, but we're making it relatable, like to all the other moms. What is the stupid phrase now?
Geriatric?
No, there's a new one though. It's not it's like
Elderly?
maternal.
Elderly birth?
It's like advanced
maternal age.
Which like, what?
Well, I mean, there is science to it. So you do have a certain amount of eggs when you're born. And they decrease and decrease. And the amount of healthy eggs are less and less.
I guess wish.
What I just learned when I went to the gyno the other day is that, so at 35, when I was trying at about 37, got pregnant at 38. So you're already down to about 15%. Mm-hmm. And Morgan, our friend, like our other mom friend who's filming, she's production, she knows all about this shit. But like your chances go from like 15 to at 40 if you're trying to get pregnant, even if all the stars align, you're at about 5 to 7% best.
Which is crazy. Yeah, there's science to it. I just wish that there was a nicer name.
There should be a little nicer.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not shading. Like,
yeah.
There's science. I get it.
Like whatever. Sexy cougar maternal age.
Let's go for something like MILF stat. Like
MILF.
Anything other than what it is.
I'm with you.
Advanced maternal. Are you? No.
I'm with you. Because I am an advanced maternal age
we
for
can go with
trying
MILF
to get
for
pregnant.
Because that is
MILF,
fitting.
if you will.
Yeah.
I'm also a cougar. My husband's 10 years younger than me, so little known fact. But I have a 2-year-old. She's about to be 2, and I have 3 siblings, so I have always imagined that I would give my child siblings. But recently we've been trying for about 6 months. It's not working.
Like trying.
Yeah, like doing the ovulation
lots
tests
of sex.
and lots of unwanted sex.
Lots of sex.
Lots of grueling sex. No, look, bless his heart. Love my husband. It's a very happy time for him. No, but
best so 6 months of his life.
we've been trying. It hasn't been working, and the more that it doesn't work, the more that I question if I want it or not. Do I feel like being pregnant again? Absolutely fucking not. Do I want another C-section? Fuck no. Do I want to deal with the year of recovery that it took me to get normal after Farrah? No, but I do want this other baby. So where we are right now is we stopped trying for the moment because I just really don't feel like it's making me happy. And then we're going to revisit it later, or we're going to adopt. So that's where I'm at.
Have really big things with your career happening.
Yeah, I just am finally getting my career back, and it feels really good. And again, I feel selfish.
No, that's why I said that for you. Like, I know that's why you didn't say that, but you have really big things happening with your career, and it's not selfish. It's really awesome that things are happening, and you're back into that part of who Amie is.
And your career too, which I don't know if you're worried about, but you're the kind of person I feel. And now that we all have each other, you can have this baby and still get back to your career fairly fast. With music, it's very different. It doesn't wait for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I very much worry about being able to come back from another child, taking realistically 2 years of my life where I really can't do much else. We don't have a ton of money. I can't afford to have a full-time nanny. I can't, nor do I want
You
it.
don't want, yeah.
I want to raise my kids. So we'll see. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I guess we'll just, through this podcast, we will go through it together, honey.
I know. I mean, you very well could change your mind, and
I am very much on the fence.
You could have sex, wanted sex, and
Every
could
blue moon
happen.
I want it. It's not often. Not often, but every blue moon I'm into it.
Well, I respect what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you for making that decision.
Thank you.
Because there has been a lot of pressure that you've put on yourself to make it happen. And you've put yourself on the back burner a little bit because of that, which ain't that motherhood.
Yeah.
But you're taking...
We'll see. I think that I just need to listen to what I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling is that it hasn't worked for a reason. This is not the right time for me to get pregnant.
Yeah.
I would love to continue to drink wine. I would like to drink this summer.
With me.
Yes, with you.
Because we've never
And I would like
been
to
able
just focus on my kid and my career. And if the other kid comes, great. If not, I'm very much into the idea of adopting.
Which I think is something that you should not ignore because not everybody feels that way.
Not everybody feels that way. Yeah. So, anyway, should we cheers to
let's cheers.
Navigating motherhood together?
Cheers to navigating motherhood.
And the first episode, thank you guys so much for listening.
There's so much good to come.
Yes. And we will see you next episode.
Rock, rock, rock me, mama.